Good morning, nerds. It's Wednesday. What's up? How you doing this morning? It's 9:30 in the morning here on a beautiful spring morning, the first day of summer. It is the solstice, the longest day of the year. June 21st in the year of our Lord Hello Kitty 2023. It is time to take a look at all the physical product that might be floating around on the shelves of your friendly local game store. That is, if you happen to have a friendly local game store that actively supports tabletop role-playing. Unless you live where I live. Maybe we've gone over that before, and I'm not bitter. Yes, I am bitter. All right, let's take a look to see what, if anything, is worth your hard-earned money this week. The first day of summer. Dragon Horde issue 30 from Legendary Games has hit the streets. It's $11.99, $12 plus tax. It's a magazine of 5e adjacent fun. So, you know, we've talked about these before. It's a magazine. It's got monsters and treasures and random tables and adventures and new and ideas that might be worthy for your 5e game if that's something you're into. Going all the way back to Dragon Magazine and Alarms and Excursions and White Dwarf and the Space Gamer, Fantasy Gamer. $12 plus tax gets you, 20, 25, 60 pages of stuff. Always fun. From Legendary Games, we also have Mechanical Monsters and Mechanical Monsters for Pathfinder and 5th edition. This is a $30 book of creatures born from the minds of mad wizards everywhere. So basically 140 different types of takes on golems and taking more normal monsters and then just changing them to robots. So instead of having a normal beholder, it has a clockwork beholder. Instead of a normal undead, it has rust undead. So yeah, they've just basically gone through the monster manual and added a name to it to make it mechanical for $30. A couple months ago, I did the exact same thing for $2. That's still available on Big Geek Emporium, as is all my Minions on issues 1 through 14. Still available for $2 each on Big Geeks Emporium, so you can spend $30 for a book of Mechanical Monsters, or you can spend $2 and get the exact same thing from me. I know which one I'd want to support, but make up your own mind. From Deus Ex Machina for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, we have the Affinity Luxury Complete Set for $160. It is a trilogy of world, each with unique ideas and rules, but sharing similar themes, names, and even common menaces, such as, stuff that we borrowed from 5e. It is based on, but not required, of ultra-modern 5e. So it is a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, but also an ultra-modern 5e 5th edition. 3 different worlds. Each world has its own monsters, treasures. The worlds are known as Constauga, Paradise, and Taurus. Taurus is a art punk, steampunk world. Paradise is a world of gods that are fighting each other and have forbidden both magic and technologies. And Constago is a world of humans and aliens that are trapped on an ark and forced to explore the catacombs of the strange vessel scavenging and crafting technology. So world settings are, 3 different worlds, all based upon one theme for $160. Maybe? 160 seems a little pricey, but whatever. From Gaming Ballistic, we have Best Supporting Actors for OSR, OSE type stuff. $30. It's a bunch of NPCs. $30 for a bunch of NPCs. 172 NPCs to be exact. It's over $30. You can get Farmer and the stats for the Farmer. Yeah. We've got some stuff from Renegade available at your friendly local game store for all 3 of the Renegade titles: Power Rangers, RPG, Transformers, and G.I. Joe. We've got the Field Guide to Action Adventure and the Power Rangers role-playing game starter box. The Field Guide to Action Adventure gives you the the inevitable what if the Power Rangers fought the G.I. Joe and the Transformers, who would win? And then the Power Rangers RPG standee pack includes the Power Rangers RPG starter set, plus some standees and stuff like that. So $55 for each, I guess is what they're saying. Not each one is. Yeah, that makes no sense. It's $55, I get both. $55 for each. You could have written this one up better. But we're angry at Renegade Game Studios, as you know, right now. So despite the fact that they are currently holding My Little Pony and, of course, my beloved Power Rangers as the titles that they have control over, we're still like, shame on you for something as stupid as a name. And from the creators of my personal favorite retro clone, Dungeon Crawl Classics, we have Dying Earth Stretch Goals Collection. This is for the Dungeon Crawl Classics Dying Earth setting. It's $100. Comes with everything that they'd made up for during the Dying Earth Kickstarter campaign, plus the Dying Earth setting, all the stretch goal stuff, gazettes, stuff like that. Dying Earth might sound familiar. It might be somewhere in the back of your collective unconsciousness going, well, Dying Earth is the series of books written by Jack Vance. Jack Vance, of course, created Vancian Magic, which is the core mechanic for the magic system of pretty much the entire D20 magic, all the way back to day one. Gygax and Arneson took the ideas for the D&D magic system from the Jack Vance books. I tried reading a Jack Vance book once, I think, a long time ago, and I got halfway through it, and I was like, there's no mention of magic in this. Hello, Spider. So I probably need to read them again at some point in time. But yeah, Dying Earth is the series of books that Jack Vance wrote that Gygax and Arneson mined to create the beginnings of what we now know as the Dungeons & Dragons magic system. So Dungeon Crawl Classics has somehow managed to get their hands on the rights to the Jack Vance library and created the Dungeon Crawl Classic Dying Earth setting. Because, DCC doesn't really have a setting. It's just a really awesomely but slightly too big rule book. So, yeah. So, if you are a fan of bizarre, gonzo, over-the-tops, and you got $100 extra to spend on a role-playing game setting, you could do worse than this because, as you know, DCC is my personal favorite retro clone OSR game. And finally, we have Die. DIE, the role-playing game. So I guess it's okay to use that word again. Remember when we went through a thing that people couldn't use the word die or death or because it might trigger memories of people? Die was a bad thing. You couldn't call them six-sided dice anymore. You couldn't use the word dire in your game because, God forbid, one of your players might have had somebody in their life that passed away, and the word die or dice or death might trigger their memories of the fact that somebody they knew passed away, and we couldn't have that, so we couldn't use the word anymore. Remember that? Yeah, well, apparently these guys are like, screw that. We're using the word again. Die RPG. This comes from us from Rowan, Rook, and Descartes. It is a $60 tabletop role-playing game. It is lit fiction, or Isagi, as I guess it's called, where you play a person who is trapped in a fantasy world from the real world, based on the comic of the same name by Kieron Gillian and Stephanie. Kieron Gillian and Stephanie. The PCs play a group of people who are real world characters who were trapped in a role-playing game. So this was a comic book based upon the anime trope, Isagi trope of people, hack whatever. They're real people, and they got trapped in a video game or trapped in a role-playing game. It was a big RPG thing, big anime thing for a while, and it's sort of the idea of the, it's Isagi, right? Isagi, I'm saying it wrong. I'm a normal person in the real world, and I invested a lot of energy in the real world in a sort of useless skill like farming. But then I die, and I come back to life in a fantasy world for reasons. And in that fantasy world, that useless skill makes me like a god. And because of that, I attract a lot of romantic followers and go on crazy adventures. Yeah. So anime trope became comic book. Theme of comic book was real people trapped in fantasy world. Now we have a role-playing game where you're playing real people who are trapped in a fantasy role-playing game world, and you have to survive the fantasy world gaming playing world, or the real people to the thing, and then it goes to the other thing, and then it goes to the other thing, and if you think about it, it'll probably make your brain hurt. This is not a new idea. I mean, Dream World goes all the way back to Dream World, even before Dream World. I mean, Keepers of the Torch, just normal people trapped in fantasy world, and how would a normal person, Thomas Covenant, it's an old idea. These guys have just found a new way to do it, and then for $60 seems, I don't know, maybe. I mean, the anime genre is huge. I mean, almost every new anime that comes out is based upon that normal person trapped in fantasy world who finds that they're a god in that world, and apparently also attracts a lot of romantic conflict reasons. If any of those are products that you are interested in, call your friendly local game store and make sure they have them in stock. And when you do call them, tell them I sent you, which point they'll go, I don't care, who's that? That's it for today. If any of those products sounds interesting to you, let me know if you're going to pick them up. That is, if you are lucky enough to have a friendly local game store where you live that actually actively supports role-playing. But I'm not bitter. And take all that energy that I have hopefully inspired in you in the last 12 minutes and use it to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the OG GM Adventures. Help me hit 2,000 subs by the end of the year, and we'll do something crazy. Till then, enjoy this wonderful weather, and I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Now get